Well, you may have given up playing roles on stage, but you have just starred in a film in Berlin called Just a Gigolo. How did you enjoy that?
I loved it very much. I quite enjoyed it as an actor as well, funnily enough, which I didn't really expect. I tell you what, the funniest thing about the film, I thought, there's one particular, the thing that I bring back with me from the war is a pig. It's the only thing that, a couple of things about this pig, actually. It was called, well, I called it Blossom, because it kept shitting on me. I mean, I was covered in, because I had to carry it for about 4 weeks, and it really smelt to high heaven. But of course, the whole thing was supposed to take place in a period of 2 or 3 days, but it took a few weeks to shoot. And we kept coming back to the pig every month or two because of a couple of scenes that we'd left out, or a couple of scenes that David had to do. And the pig, of course, had progressively got bigger and bigger over the week. So I start off at, say, 10 a.m. in the morning with this tiny little piglet that I can almost hold in one arm. And by the end of the day, I was sort of struggling with this great sow. This is sort of very Alice in Wonderland.
Why did you want to make this particular film, Just a Gigolo?
Marlene Dietrich was dangled in front of me, for one thing. Also, I got on extremely well with David Hemmings. And so between those two things, I think I was pulled into it.
What was it like working with Marlene Dietrich?
I wish I knew. I must ask somebody who did work with her.
Why?
Well, what happened, for the duration of the film, they were trying to get Marlene to come to Germany, but she wouldn't, because since, I think, a period in the 50s, she's been reluctant to go back because her views differed very much with what was happening in Germany during the war. So she stayed in Paris and said, I will do my filming in Paris. All the way through the film she said this. And I quite agreed with her. And we talked to each other on the phone, and we decided it would be fine if I did my bit in Berlin and she did her bit in Paris, and the two were gelled together. And
never actually met her?
No.
That's amazing.
I think it's quite nice in the context of the film, because she's forever the observer, really. And knowing that, it makes her even more of the observer. A mystical, wonderful, Cocteau character that she is.
Have you got a military education?
Yes, my father was Colonel von Bushkovsky.
Any other credentials? Languages? There's one thing I don't like. Poor fantasy in speech. It lacks charm. And you don't seem to lack anything.
Do you lack anything, David Bowie?
Isn't she lovely?
She's marvellous.
I wish I'd met her.
Looks fantastic.
A long time ago.
I'm picking up the line she addressed you in the film. Do you feel you lack anything, or have you got everything you want now?
Yes, a train ticket to Penge. I've got some friends out there, and I promised I'd go and see them this week, but I haven't had the time to get down there yet.
Well, actually, it is the story of a young, rather vulnerable young man who goes to World War I in the hope that he will be able to be a hero. He comes from a Prussian military background. He really wants to be a hero. It is his destiny. And he fails throughout the whole picture. And the trouble was, we wanted somebody who could be passive, but also active. It is a passive role, and yet we didn't want somebody who was just going to walk through it and be a total observer. And we looked at a lot of people, and somebody in Rome suggested that David might be a great idea. I thought it was a good idea. Went to see David in Montreux, and we sat down, talked about it, talked it through. I made a lot of ideas up off the top of my head, and so did he, and pretended we'd thought about them all along. And we had a terrific meeting. And it just, from that meeting, we decided to do it. David decided that he did want to do it, and from then on, that was it. I mean, you see, I always thought of David as an actor anyway. I mean, fundamentally, he has played roles, and his music has reflected the roles, and the roles have continued. And I suppose in the future, or now, Gigolo may have had an effect on that. Certainly, if you count the 7 different stages from Ziggy through to Gigolo, including Man Who Fell to Earth, then Gigolo is another persona, if you like.
In the light of Bowie's widely publicised remarks on fascism, it was an obvious worry that a role like this might be interpreted as showing an unhealthy obsession with Nazi Germany. Hemmings took this into account.
It happened already to have been a concept of mine that we would never see any we would never see a swastika in the picture, and we would never refer to it in that way. And also the attack of the picture is from a completely different standpoint. I mean, here is an actor giving a very, very, very well-developed and extremely classy performance, which starts terribly, terribly sympathetically and naively, and grows and becomes more cynical as the film progresses, which is a hard task for an actor, particularly on a second major feature. And I mean, he did incredibly well. And I mean, I think that the audience, when they go to see it, because of the difference in nature of the picture, will again not reflect so much about David as a rock and roll performer, or indeed as the man who fell to earth kind of character. I think he plays the character in the film, and in the context of the film is an actor playing that role, is the character, in fact.